Everyone. I just wanted to make a quick video to review with you our discussion from today. We talked about how to solve quadratic equations, and one of the methods that we discussed was completing the square. Let's look at a few examples. Let's solve this quadratic by completing the square, and the equation is x squared plus 8x equals negative 15. The first thing that we want to do is we want to look at our leading coefficient. It is 1, so we don't have to divide anything else by the leading coefficient because it's just 1. And our constant is already moved to the other side of the equal sign. So we can begin completing the square, and we will take half of b, which will be half of 8, and half of 8 is 4. And now we want to take the half of b that we just calculated, which was 4, and square it. And we get a product of 16, and that is what we want to add to both sides of our equal sign. So we have x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals negative 15 plus 16. We can now go ahead and factor our x squared plus 8x plus 16. If we use our rules for factoring, I'm going to take you through the process. For bottoms up, we multiply our leading coefficient, which is 1, times the constant, which is 16. 1 times 16 is 16. Factor 16 into two numbers that will add to give us our middle coefficient, and that would be 4 and 4, because 4 plus 4 gives us a sum of 8. So then we would set up our parentheses, and x squared plus 8x plus 16 would be factored into x plus 4 times x plus 4. And we can rewrite that as x plus 4 squared. Now let's deal with our other side of the equal sign. Negative 15 plus 16 is a positive 1. And now we're going to solve this quadratic using principal roots, or the principle of square roots, I should say. And in doing so, we know that the principle of square roots will tell us that I can solve this by taking the square root of both sides. And then x plus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 1, which is 1. Subtract 4 from both sides of our equal sign. So x equals negative 4 plus or minus 1, which would give us our two solutions. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to make some more room. So we had x equals negative 4 plus or minus 1, and we want to find our two solutions. So we would write them as negative 4 plus 1, or negative 4 minus 1. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3, and negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. So these are our two solutions to the quadratic. Let's do another example. And this time we'll try one that has a leading coefficient that is not equal to 1. So let's look at this example. Let's solve the quadratic 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 equals 0, and we want to solve it by completing the square. First, let's begin by moving our constant to the other side of the equal sign by adding 2 to both sides. And the result will be 3x squared plus 5x equals 2. Now, we want to divide each term by 3 because that is the leading coefficient. So we want to divide everything by 3. So then we have x squared plus 5/3 x equals 2/3. And now we can go through our process of taking half of the middle coefficient, and squaring it. So this is our middle term, its coefficient. We want to take half of 5/3. Half of 5/3 is 5/6. And now we want to square 5/6. And we get 25/36. And this is what we want to add to both sides of our equal sign. So we have x squared plus 5/3 x plus 25/36 equals 2/3 plus 25/36. We are going to factor this side of our equal sign. And in doing so, we have 1 times 25/36 equals 25/36. And now we want to factor this and the two numbers that will multiply to give me 25/36 and that will add to give me 5/3 are in fact the result of, or the product of, 1/2 of our middle term. So they would be 5/6 and 5/6. So the factored form of our left side of the equation is going to be, let me clear the board one more time to give us some more room. Clear board. Okay, so let me rewrite what we just had up there, and then we'll talk about the factored form. So we had x squared plus 5/3 x plus 25/36 equals 2/3 plus 25/36. And we're going to factor this side of our equal side into x plus 5/6 times x plus 5/6, which is x plus 5/6 squared. And then let's come over here and let's go ahead and add. We add 2/3 plus 25/36. In order to add fractions, the denominators have to be the same. So I want to multiply this denominator by 12 and the numerator also by 12 to maintain equality. So then this becomes 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 12 is 36. So we have 24 plus 25 all over 36. Then we have x plus 5/6 squared. So x plus 5/6 squared equals 49/36. Solve using the principle of square roots. So we'll take the square root of both sides. And in doing so, we find that x plus 5/6 equals plus or minus the square root of 49 over the square root of 36 is 7/6. We're going to solve this by subtracting 5/6 from both sides of our equal sign. and x equals negative 5/6 plus or minus 7/6. So our two solutions for x would be that x equals negative 5/6 plus 7/6, or x equals negative 5/6 minus 7/6. And then we need to simplify. So x equals negative 5/6 plus 7/6 is positive 2/6, which simplifies to 1/3. Or a negative 5/6 minus 7/6 is, I'm having trouble saying that 6, y'all, is negative 12/6, which simplifies to negative 2. So our final answer, I'm going to write it up top so I don't have to clear the screen, or write it on the side. Our final answer is x equals 1/3 or negative 2. And those are the solutions we found by completing the square. And I will say this too. Normally, your textbook and the authors of math, conventional math books want you to write the smaller answer first when you're typing it. And if the computer takes off because you don't write the smaller answer first, please let me know and I'll be happy to give you credit. So again, what I'm saying is, instead of writing it the way I have with 1/3 first, the authors would prefer that you write negative 2 first and then 1/3. But either way, they're both the correct answer. Let me know if you have any questions on completing the square.